Hello students, welcome back. This is the third part of the chapter in the kingdom of fools. In the first two parts we have seen where the king gives the orders and where the people are supposed to follow that orders. And in the second part we have seen where the king blamed the rich merchant, then rich merchant blamed bricklayer blamed dancing girl, as well as the dancing girl, she blamed the goldsmith, and finally the goldsmith again blames that he was late to give the jewelry which was ordered by the dancing girl. But the reason was the rich merchant, as the weddings were coming, so he was quite impatient to get his jewelry, so he was busy with preparing the jewelry for rich merchant. That was the reason he couldn't give the jewelry on time to dancing girl. And finally the rich merchant was blamed for that. The rich merchant now giving the clarification that I am not the one, it was my father who did, it was the order given by my father. So the king is saying that you have inherited the father's wealth, as well as now you are supposed to inherit the father's sins. So now this jewelry, this stake is made and you are supposed to get punished. But as the rich merchant was too thin for the stake which was prepared, so now the king ordered that he sent his messengers that bring the person who is fitted in this stake. As the rich merchant is too thin, so he is not possible, he couldn't fit in this, so we can't punish him. So now the king ordered and the messengers started looking for a fellow who is quite fit, healthy, chubby, or fat actually, who is actually fat. Okay, so now let's start with the third part where the disciple, this paragraph we have seen where the disciple, as in the starting, the first part we have seen where the guru and the disciple arrives in that place, in that city, and after seeing that city where everything was getting off only one duddu, 1 penny, so the disciple was food lover, so he decided to stay in that city where the guru was giving him the suggestions that not to stay here because it is the kingdom of fools and you don't know what the kings of this fool kingdom can take any decision. They don't have the proper decisions. So disciple now has turned up quite fattened himself for months on bananas, wheat and ghee. It is clear now he have made himself, now he have turned quite fattened or chubby. So obviously now the king, this disciple will be the only one who will be fitted for that stake. What have I done wrong? I am innocent. I am sannyasi, he cried. That may be true, but it's the royal decree that we should find a man fat enough to fit the stake, they said, and carried him to the place of execution. He remembered his wise guru's words. This is a city of fools. You don't know what they will do next. You can't judge that what will be their next step, because it is a fool city. They can do anything and you can't predict that what will be their next step. While he was waiting for that, he prayed to his guru in his heart, asking him to hear his cry wherever he was. The guru saw everything in a vision. He had a magic pass. He could see far and he could see the future as he could see the present and the past. He arrived at once to save his disciple who had got himself into such a scrape through love of food. Now the sannyasi, the disciple, was crying that I am innocent, I am the sannyasi, I don't know. And when he was taken to the execution place, at that time he remembered the guru's word that this is the city of fools and you don't know what they will do next. At that time now he started thinking, he started remembering his Guru, and the Guru, as he started remembering the Guru in his heart, the Guru is having the power, he is having the vision, he is having some magic powers. By that magic powers he can see the present, past, future and everything, and he arrived at once. All of a sudden he arrived to save his disciple, where the disciple was at the place of execution. He arrived, and as the disciple, he was escaped through the food of love. As soon as he arrived, he scolded the disciple and told him something in a whisper. Then he went to the king and addressed him, "O wisest of kings, who is greater, the Guru or the disciple?" "Of course, the Guru, no doubt about it. Why do you ask?" "Then put me to the stake first, put my disciple to death after me." Now the Guru came and he became angry. He scolded, now he is scolding the disciple, and he whispered something. Whispered means to speak slowly. He spoke slowly, whispered, to speak something slowly in a low manner, right? Slowly he spoke something in his ear, and he addressed the king. Now what he is addressing the king, that you are the wisest, you are the smart, talented, wisest means you are talented, smart king, right? He is addressing who, now he is asking the king, by addressing that you are the wisest and the smartest and a talented king, he is asking that who is greater. Can you tell me, the king, who is greater, Guru or disciple? Now he is comparing and he is asking who is quite great, Guru or disciple. So the king, being the wisest, now he have been flattered. After this flattering, now he is saying that of course the Guru is the great, there is no doubt that the Guru is great. Now the king is asking that why you are asking me this. So now the Guru is saying, then put me to the stake first, because I am is the Guru, so put me to the stake first and put my disciple after me. Put my disciple to death after me, because as I am the Guru, so I need to be hanged first. So when the disciple heard this, he understood and began to clamor, "Me first! You brought me here first, put me to death first, not him." The Guru and the disciple now got into a fight about who should go first. The king was puzzled by this behavior. He asked the Guru, "Why do you want to die?" "We chose him because we needed a fat man for the stake." "You shouldn't ask me such questions. Put me to the death first," replied the Guru. "Why, there's some mystery here. As a wise man, you must make me understand." Now the disciple got that what the Guru is going to do, so he started clamoring to show that as if I'll be going first. And the disciple is saying to the king that as you brought me first, so I will be the only first. Now they started fighting as if who will be going first, who will be dying first. And now the king got puzzled. Now the king was puzzled with this kind of behavior, that why they are doing in this way, why they are behaving in such a manner. So he asked the Guru that why do you want to die? King is asking that as we need a fatty man, we need a plumpy man for the stake who can fit. That is the reason we brought him. The Guru is not ready to listen and he is asking, as you are the wise, whatever the thing I told, as I am the Guru, as you told that the Guru is always great, so I am supposed to be die first. Why? There's some mystery here. As a wisest man, you must make me understand. Now as being a wisest man, you should make me understand. Will you promise to me to death if I'll tell you? Asked the Guru. The king gave him a solemn word. The Guru took him aside out of the servant's earshot and whispered to him, "Do you know why we want to die right now, the two of us? We have been all over the world, but we have never found a city like this or a king like you. That stake is the stake of God of justice. It's new. It has never had a criminal on it. Whoever dies on it first will be reborn as the king of this country, and whoever go next will be the future minister of this country." and we are sick of our ascetic life. It would be nice to enjoy ourselves as a king and minister for a while. Now keep your word, my lord, and put us to death. Me first, remember. Now, what he is saying, that the king is asking, as I am the wise, I should know the reason. So, the Guru took the king aside out of the servant's earshots. Earshots means where the servant can't hear anything. Earshots means where they are unable to listen. And whispered to him. Whispered means speak in a low voice. Right? Whispered means again, as I told, in a low voice. We have been all over the world. Now the king, Guru is saying to the king that we have been all over the world. We have visited all over the world, but we have not found such a city. And this stake is not just a stake; it is a stake of the God of justice, where, as it is told, that whosoever will be hanged first, or who will be died first, will be reborn in the future. They will be reborn, and the first who will be hanged will be turned as a king, and the next who will be hanged will be the minister. Now this was the trick and the technique played by the Guru. He is saying that whosoever will be hanged first will be rebirthed as a king, and the second will be minister. And now we are really fed up. We are sick of our aesthetic life, this spiritual life. Now we want to enjoy the life, the luxurious life of the king. We want to be ourselves as a king and the minister for a while. At least after dying, we now want to be a king and the minister. So now you are supposed to keep your word. As you promised, you have given me the solemn word. Right? So you want me to put to the dead and me first. Do you remember, as you promised that you are going to hang me first? So I'll be hanged first because I want to be the king, and you will be as a minister. Now the king was now thrown into deep thought. He didn't want to lease the kingdom to someone else in the next round of life. He needed time, so he ordered the execution postponed to the next day and talked in a secret with his minister. It's not right for us to give our kingdom to others in the next life. Let's go on the stake ourselves, and we will be reborn as a king and minister again. Holy men do not tell lies, he said, and the minister agreed. So he told the executioners, we will send the criminals tonight. When the first man comes to you, put him to the death first, then do the same to the second man. Those are my orders. Don't make any mistake. Now what he's saying, as the Guru told that who will be hanged first will be the king, and who will be hanged next will be the minister in the future life, in the next life, the rebirth. So the king went and discussed with his minister in the secret that we don't want to pass our kingdom to anyone else in the next round of our life. I don't want to lose my kingdom even in my next life. So let's release that Guru and the disciple, and we will be on that place, in that chamber. And before going in that chamber, he have ordered to the executioners, he told his executioners, what he told, that we will send the criminals tonight. We will send the men, the criminals, to you. Whosoever will come first, you will put him to death first, and the second later on, afterwards the second one. So what the king has said, that those are my orders. Don't make any mistake. Whosoever will be arriving, whosoever will be coming first, you are supposed to hang that person first. And already they have discussed, the king and the minister here, they have discussed that they don't want to lose their kingdom even in the next life. They don't want the kingdom to be passed on to someone else. So they have decided to move themselves in the chamber and to release the Guru and the disciple. Here the Guru, as he was wisest, so he When that night the king and his minister went secretly to the prison, released the Guru and the disciple, and disguised themselves as the two, and arranged beforehand with the loyal servants were taken to the stake and promptly executed. Now they secretly went into the chamber, and already the king have ordered that whosoever will come, you are supposed to hang him first. So the Guru and the disciple were released, and they were sent in place of Guru and disciple, and already they have ordered whosoever will come first, he is supposed to be hanged. When the bodies were taken down to be thrown to the crows and the vultures, the people panicked. They saw before them the dead bodies of the king and the ministers. So they were confused. Now they were hanged to death, they were died. And now when the dead bodies were taken, there was panic. Right? They were afraid, they were scared. Everybody was shocked, panicked. That what did they saw? They saw the dead body of king and his minister. The city was in the confusion that what happened? What is happening this? How come the king and the minister died? All the night they mourned and discussed the future of the kingdom. Some people suddenly thought of the Guru and the disciple and caught up them as they were preparing to leave town unnoticed. Now they mourned, they cried. Mourning means to cry. Right? Mourn, M-O-U-R-N, mourn, to cry, as to regret. Now they were crying that they lost their king and the minister. Now what will happen to this kingdom? And suddenly the people thought, they caught up, they bring up the king, this Guru and the disciple who were preparing to leave the town unnoticed. Unnoticed means without knowing. Unnoticed means without knowing. So they begged the Guru and the disciple to be their king and their minister. It didn't take many arguments to persuade the disciple, but it took longer to persuade, to make agree. Persuade means to hear, to be agree. Persuade means to agree. As disciple was ready, but the Guru was not ready to be the king and the minister. They finally agreed to rule the kingdom of the foolish king and silly minister on the condition that they could change all the old laws. Finally they agreed, but along with that, whatever the rule which were made by the previous king and the minister, they want that old laws to be changed. From then on, night would again be night and the day would again be the day, and you could get nothing for a dudu. It became like any other place. Now all old laws, the first thing that night will be night and the day will be day, and whatever the work you are supposed to do in the day hours, you will be doing in the day, and the night in the night only. And whatever the thing you used to get in a dudu, now you won't get anything in the dudu. It will be like any other place. Whatever the charges are in the other place, same it will be done over here. So with the smartness, Guru and the disciple saved, especially the Guru saved that kingdom of the fools, and the laws which were made by the previous king were changed by the Guru, and now he is so this was in the kingdom of fools. Now the Guru and disciple changed the old laws and they lived happily ever after, the way we are living right now. So now this is the end of this chapter. Hope you all have understood. If any doubts, any queries, you can drop a message or you can comment. Bye bye. Take care. Stay tuned. Stay safe.